Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AMAP, aka As Many as Possible, where I try to review as many movies and TV shows as I possibly can on a streaming service, and I'm doing it on HBO Max. This is not a sponsor. Okay, we have made it to the third installment of the Conjuring trilogy. This is the first Conjuring movie that is not directed by my boy James Wan. It is now directed by a man named 𝘋𝘦𝘷𝘪𝘭, who has previously directed apparently Bury a Friend music video by Billie Eilish and also The Curse of La Llorona. Now, I have never seen The Curse of La Llorona, so I can't form an opinion around it, but from what I've heard, it's bad. So, how does 𝘋𝘦𝘷𝘪𝘭 helm the third installment of the Conjuring films? Let me first give a plot synopsis, and I'm sorry that I didn't give a plot synopsis for the first two Conjuring movies. I'm learning, so this is a learning process for me. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprise their roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren, who take on the Arnie Johnson case, which is the first time someone has committed a murder and has pleaded not guilty due to demonic possession. As my overall opinion, I did enjoy the movie, though it did feel less refined and weaker than the first two, but let's start with the positives first. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, of course, knock it out the park with their acting. They really shine. I loved them since the first movie, and I love them even to this movie. They are so great. Even if the movie isn't good, you care for these characters because what's not to love about them? Let's address the elephant in the room. 𝘋𝘦𝘷𝘪𝘭 is now in the director's chair. So does that change anything about The Conjuring? Does it make this film weaker than the others? It kind of does, but overall, I think he did an excellent job. Considering that The Curse of La Llorona was... It's kind of refreshing to see that I actually enjoyed this film. Now, while I don't think that 𝘋𝘦𝘷𝘪𝘭 is as experienced as James Wan when it comes to horror and tension, there is actually a surprising amount of tension, I feel, in this film. There are some great sequences in the film where it is very creepy, very scary. Maybe not as scary as the first two, but you definitely feel that tension there. One choice that I love that they made was that they had Patrick Wilson in the beginning of the movie suffer a heart attack. And so throughout the movie, he's held back from running around because he is suffering from heart problems. So now throughout the movie, while they're trying to chase this demon, which is a very stressful thing to do, Patrick Wilson has to deal with his heart. And so that creates a great level of tension throughout the movie that keeps people at the edge of their seat, in my opinion. I thought it was pretty good. What I found interesting is that in the first two Conjurings, the person that's being possessed or tormented is always surrounded by family.
Salute me, familia.
But what's interesting about The Conjuring 3 is that Arnie Johnson is left alone to fight by himself with this demon. He's in this cell with maybe one guard passing by every few times a night. And so he really has to battle this fight alone with the demon, and I actually thought that was pretty suspenseful because, you know, in the other two films, they always had family members to hold on to. But with Arnie, he has to fight for himself. And that actually made me sympathize with him a lot more than maybe other people did with this movie. But I thought the actor that played Arnie Johnson was excellent in this movie. He definitely did a great job, and I definitely think he should be credited more for that. The problem, though, with having Arnie Johnson fight this demon alone is that when he has someone like his girlfriend try to be there for him, she does feel overwhelmingly underdeveloped. Much less than the family in the first film. I thought they were developed a little more than the people surrounding Arnie Johnson. You do feel some connection between him and David Glatzel, who was being tormented by the demon in the beginning of the film, and he had an exorcism performed on him, and so he already knew the experience of having a demon inside him, and so having that little conversation between the two, I think was a really interesting choice, and I really liked that. One flaw about the movie that I did notice, though, is that it doesn't feel as refined and structured as the first two Conjuring films. The film is centered around the Devil Made Me Do It case, where Arnie Johnson pleaded not guilty by demonic possession. And that's about where the case ends when it comes to it being interesting. It feels like they have to stretch it out a bit because the case is a bit thin. It's kind of difficult to fit it in a full-length movie. And so they have to go away from that for a bit. They have to divert from the case and view another case. And so basically these two cases are loosely connected to each other. While it didn't take me out of the film, it did feel a little bit all over the place. But while the movie did not feel as refined as the first two, I did overall enjoy the movie. The opening was great. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are great in this film. The actor that played Arnie Johnson was great in this film. Michael Chase, I think, did a really good job at directing. I didn't even mention the cinematography. The cinematography is great. This is a beautiful looking film. There are so many great shots in this movie. It does feel very different from James Wan, though, because James Wan, you kind of get this handheld camera experience, while in this film it does feel a bit more cinematic. It has more wide shots and everything, and so it does feel a bit different from James Wan, but of course it doesn't have to be exactly like James Wan. Michael Chase is doing his own thing, and I'm totally for it. And so while this movie may have been the weaker of all three movies, I did enjoy it overall. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10. Yay! And that's all three Conjuring movies. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to review any specific movie or TV show. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie, and I'll see you guys on the next AMAP. Take care.